Today I'm going to show you how to make rice pudding. This recipe makes 8 servings. I will be preparing a half recipe for you today. For this recipe, you will need 2 quarts of milk, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of long grain rice like Carolina rice, 1 cinnamon stick, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1 cup of heavy cream, a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 eggs. You're going to need a wooden spoon, a rubber spatula, and a whisk. And you're also going to need a medium saucepan. You're going to start by heating up your milk. You will add your sugar, your rice, your cinnamon stick, your quarter teaspoon of salt, and your 2 tablespoons of butter. You're going to stir these well so that the rice and the sugar don't go all the way to the bottom and get stuck. And you're going to bring it up to a simmer, okay? We're looking for some small bubbles on the top of the milk. When it starts to simmer, I'm going to lower down the heat and I'm going to let it simmer for about 1 hour. You want to make sure that you constantly check the rate at which this rice pudding is simmering, because if it simmers too hard and too fast, what's going to happen is that it could boil over and the liquid could evaporate too fast and the rice not cook properly. Periodically go in and stir the rice pudding to make sure that nothing is sticking on the bottom, and let it continue to cook until the rice is tender, about 45 minutes to 1 hour. Now that our rice is cooked, we're going to add our egg, which is going to help thicken our pudding. We don't want to add this egg directly because it will scramble because of the temperature of the rice pudding. So we're going to temper the egg. We're going to add a little bit at a time until the egg comes up to temperature. I'm also going to add my vanilla extract at this point, and then I'm going to pour it back in to the pot, stir it, and add my heavy cream in as well. Last but not least, I'm going to add my dash of cinnamon, and you can always add more cinnamon later, but this is enough for this stage of the recipe. At this point, I'm going to stir the rice pudding constantly until it begins to simmer or starts to produce bubbles, very small bubbles. I don't want to cook this too long, so I want to make sure that I raise the heat up so that this process happens pretty fast. We want it to come up to a boil just so that it cooks the egg and has reached its full thickening capacity. After a little bit, I see that it is starting to come up to a boil. You see small bubbles happening through the rice pudding, and I want to take it off of the flame and I want to start to cool it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shallow pan that is wide and long, and I'm going to pour the rice pudding into this pan. The shallow long pan will allow it to cool quickly when it's in the refrigerator. I just want to spread it out nice and evenly, and then I'm going to cover it. When you cover the rice pudding, you want to make sure that you do something called put a skin on it. You want to take a long sheet of plastic wrap, you want to double it up, and you want to press it firmly onto the rice pudding. And what this will do is, as it cools, it will make sure that it stays nice and smooth instead of forming a crust on top of it. So as you can see, I'm just going to press the plastic wrap right onto the rice pudding. And any heat that needs to escape from the pudding while it cools will be able to come out through the sides, because this is not sealed where no air can escape. I'm going to place this in the refrigerator for 3 hours until cooled, or overnight. Serve the rice pudding with a little bit of additional cinnamon, some whipped cream, and enjoy. This recipe has even been approved by Sean.
That's good.
To see more videos like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our page, LICHS Culinary Arts.